Hi everyone, welcome to today's research-informed defensive lesson here at Active Self-Protection, where every day we do an analysis of a real-life use of force caught on camera so that your training and practice can be more evidence-based. I am your host as always, John Correa.
And I'm your co-host today, Neil Widener.
Download the ASP Unlimited app for all the content you love from Active Self-Protection and more with no interference from YouTube. No ads, no age gates, exclusive videos, seminars, classes, and more on iOS, Android, Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, and Android TV. Hit the link in the description or download ASP Unlimited from your app store today.
This one's out of Houston, Texas, and it's a complicated setup. A week before this, the victim, whose cell phone video we are watching, saw these three, teenagers, or maybe 17 to 20-year-olds, whatever, stealing shoes from his shoe store. So he sees them a week later, decides he is going to confront them to get his money for his shoes or get his shoes back. While he's doing that, if you go read the description from Houston PD, which is in the description of this video, I've linked it, this guy in red has called his mama, and his mama has said he has said his mom is going to bring this guy some money for the shoes that they have stolen. Now, our guy, I don't think he's brandished it, but he has a gun on him that he has stuck in his back pocket to confront these guys with. Let's listen into the audio we have from here.
Yeah. You call your people, that's 3 shoes. Call your people or call your people. That's 3 shoes.
You see this right here? She said she on my mama. Yeah, nigga, on my mama. Yeah, nigga. Let's go.
Now this has gone from shoe thievery to aggravated assault and stealing, felony stealing, steals the guy's firearm and off he goes. The cops say they're looking for these guys. Best of luck in that. Our victim here now is not only out 3 pairs of shoes that might cost a couple $100, but out his gun as well. That's going to cost him several hundred more. And there's a gun in the hand of felons. Lovely. Neil, I think people should think about joining us at the ASP National Conference.
I really wish they would. It's a great time. It's for a great cause. Tons of really interesting and great instructors. You should be there.
Yeah, it's a whole weekend of incredible firearms training, all to raise money for the Flint Hills Foster Teen Camps. We literally make nothing. Costs us money to do it. And we would love for you to join us. Link is in the description. I really think at the start here, Neil, this fails the stupid test. This guy decides, hey, I'm going to go confront these guys. Now, I get it. You might feel like, hey, man, the police aren't going to do anything, and, however that goes. But you going out there and saying, okay, I'm going to take a gun with me. I'm going to confront these guys. I'm going to get my money back. The possible positive outcomes here are so slim to none that I just think this is a terrible idea, and he should never have done this.
Yeah, I don't know what positive outcome would have come from this or what he had in his mind, simply because he's not, a law enforcement person, so he can't brandish a gun to actually take these guys into custody or anything. So he's basically taking a gun and then hoping that his will overpower 3 people. And so he's outnumbered, and so I just don't know for sure what his end goal was here. If it was just get the money for the shoes, then don't bring the gun with you. I just don't get it. And so I think there were some poor decisions made on both sides here. These kids shouldn't be stealing anyway, but to confront them as he did, I feel like, it plays out that it was a big mistake.
It should go without saying that stealing somebody else's property is not good and not okay, and they shouldn't have done that. But unfortunately, it's 2024. You got to say that stuff out loud now. And listen, if he's going to take a gun with him, it needs to be in a proper holster. Okay, it needs to be in a proper holster. If you don't have a proper holster because, oh, that's my shotgun, then guess what? It stays in the shop. That's as simple as that. If you're going to take it with you, it needs to be in a high quality holster that completely covers the trigger guard, meets the requirements of a holster. We talk about that on Active Self-Protection Extra. I have a whole series on proper holster selection in the ASP Unlimited app. You should be part of that. But if you don't have that, sticking a gun in your back pocket ain't it, Chief, because again, imagine if he had this gun in his hand. He's probably guilty here of aggravated assault if he's threatening them with a gun. Even if they stole stuff from him a week ago, which they did, it doesn't justify him using deadly force or threatening deadly force in the mere stealing of property. So it's just the whole setup here is a disaster for our victim, and he shouldn't have done that. Now, they also distracted him here. This is one of the other problems, and why you need, if you're a concealed carrier, Neil, your concealment is your retention, right? The bad guy doesn't know you have a gun. If he knows you have a gun, you need to have an active retention holster like a Safariland ALS or something like that, not a trigger finger release, please, because otherwise he's just going to yoink the gun from you like this.
Yeah, that's what we see here is that, he's got it in the back pocket. And as far as I know, Levi's doesn't have a active pistol retention back pocket yet. Maybe that's something they're working on, but that's not a thing. And so all you've got to do is reach out and grab that thing and give it a little bit of a tug. And you see that it doesn't take much. And now our bad guy has the gun. So it's not my gun anymore. It's kind of our gun for just a split second. And then it's their gun. And when it's their gun, now they get to vote on what's going to happen. And you already know that they're willing to steal from you. And now you're taking the risk that they're potentially willing to use your own gun on you. And it's a high risk. And so again, I'm not sure why we confronted these people in such a manner.
I also want to say, if you have a firearm on your person and you're in a confrontation, you need to maintain distance. Okay? Distance is your very best friend, because if he can't put his hands on you, you have the advantage with the distance tool. But this guy lets them distract him with, oh, look at what my phone says, so that the other guy can get within arm's reach of him, and then therefore reach in and grab the gun inside his reactionary gap with an element of surprise. This was preventable if our guy never lets them get within arm's reach, but of course, he wants to control them, and so this is why mission is so important here, Neil, because yeah, the mission of a law enforcement officer is to take people into custody, to get close to them and to take them into custody. As a private citizen, that's not our mission, and so when we get hands-on with somebody, that's a detriment to us, as we see here in the gun grab.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen him just dial 911. I mean, we wouldn't have this video, right? But if he had dialed 911 and said, "Hey, law enforcement, there's these guys that stole from me are here. Here's the license plate number of the car they're in. Here's the description." And maybe following them down the road. I don't know that I'd even risk that much. But that they're in the neighborhood. You know that you're probably going to run into them again. So outsource that violence so that you don't have to take the risk on yourself.
And listen, I want to say again. Does he have a right to have a firearm on his person? Absolutely yes. I'm super glad Texas has constitutional carry. More than half the states in the union do, and I'm glad for that. And he has a right to have a firearm on his person. He has a right to not have things stolen from him. But remember, you can be dead right. And doing things that are your rights does not make them the smart thing to do. And our job here at Active Self-Protection is not to say, well, you have a right to do things. It's to help you make the best choice, not just to be a legal person, but to be a good, sane, sober, moral, prudent person. And Neil, that's a higher standard.
It really is, and the prudence here is the one that I would look at. That the level of prudence to approach three different people, a group of three, and think that I'm just gonna, make them see things my way is a little bit scary when you already don't know who they are. You know what they're capable of as far as they don't respect you enough that they're not going to steal from you. So again, being prudent here, the prudent move would have been dial 911 and say, hey, here's what's going on. And I get it that, the cops are going to be a ways away. They're potentially going to get away, but you're already out the shoes and you're probably not going to get them back anyway. So what's the risk of letting the police potentially do what they do?
Cost-benefit analysis is really what that's all about. And I just don't want you to pay the cost, because the cheapest cost this guy paid was losing his gun. He could have died here, okay? Now, also, I want to talk about the disarm attempt and him trying to get his gun back. Obviously, this is not a simple retrieval here, right? So it's not like the guy takes the gun away and then hands it right back to you. In real life, what I see from a lot of martial arts schools, what I see from a lot even of combatives instructors is not very realistic. What we see in real life is that disarms are simple, fast, and full throttle. That does work both ways here. And of course, the best way to defeat a gun grab attempt on your gun, the best way of retention, is not to let him get within arm's reach to begin with. And that is the way that you do that as a private citizen. You can't always do that as a cop because of your mission, but as a private citizen, especially in this kind of scenario, you really can.
Yeah, John, the over-under on the comments of my fill in the blank, whatever martial art would have me do this is going to be 25 for this video. There will be at least 25 people that tell us that, well, with my whatever, we would do this and we're going to do that. When the answer is don't let them get your gun in the first place. If they're threatening you, now that's a whole different story. But this guy walked up, got too close to you. You already made that mistake. So to expect that that you're going to be able to recover and get that gun back is now a bad thing. In real life, it's not somebody standing on a mat in a dojo with you, with some compliance. This is real stuff. And this guy took the gun and didn't want to give it back. And clearly you can see that it's a lot harder than it looks.
Well, and if you get tangled up with this guy, let's just say you don't get this simple, really uber fast Master Ken gun disarm or something like that. You end up in one of those that takes 48 steps, right? And Master Ken's a friend of mine, and so, I can say this. So muffle me real quick, everybody, muffle me, right? Remember, Master Ken is bullshit. Okay, all right, good. We got that ahead of time. And send that to Master Ken so that he can respond. But if he does get caught up with those guys, there's 2 more people. And those 2 guys are going to get in the fight with their buddy. And so a gun disarm against 1 guy, really hard. Against 3 guys, forget it. It's not even possible. And then, thankfully, our victim here decides, oh no, I'm in real trouble, and decides to run off. And I'm glad he did, but recognize he only lived because our bad guy here decided he didn't want to add murder to his resume. That's literally the only reason he lived. And now we have a gun in the hands of thieves, gun in the hands of now aggravated assaulters, and this is how guns get into bad hands. And so I don't want to pile on this victim too much, Neil, but I do want us to be good, sane, sober, moral, and prudent people and not make mistakes like this.
Yeah, I just want to take this opportunity to say, listen, it isn't the victim that I'm blaming for any of this. This isn't his fault. He made some poor decisions, potentially because he didn't know better and he didn't have that training. So for those of you watching the video, let's take this opportunity to use this as a mental rep that says, hey, listen, you know what? If somebody steals from me, I am not going to confront them like this. Potentially, you get to choose if you want to confront them, but walking up to somebody with a gun in your back pocket, especially if they know it's there, is a bad idea. Use your concealment, use your tools, use the lessons that you learn here every day to potentially cover your ass.